Okay, so let's talk about networking. For many of us, just the word itself can bring up,
Hmm.
well, images of crowded rooms.
Forced small talk.
Exactly. That feeling of dread, especially if you're maybe not the loudest person there,
Hmm.
you know, if you prefer things a bit quieter.
Yeah, you might even wonder if it's just not your thing.
Right. But what if, and this is interesting, what if those tendencies, your natural inclinations, could actually be a kind of superpower for building connections?
Oh,
Today, we're going to do a deep dive into exactly that, how to network effectively like a pro, particularly if you identify more as an introvert.
mm.
We've got some really insightful material here that honestly challenges a lot of the common ideas about networking. Offers a pretty refreshing view.
Yeah, it does. And our mission today really is to show you how you can build strong, genuinely meaningful connections in your career and do it without feeling completely drained or, fake.
Which is key.
Absolutely. We'll use these sources to look at why networking is so important in the first place. What are the specific hurdles introverts often hit? And then the practical stuff. Concrete strategies to turn those challenges into real, authentic strengths. You'll see your way can be super effective.
Okay, so let's get the ball rolling, the big picture first.
Mm.
Why is networking considered so vital for your career, even personal growth in today's world? Everyone says it, but what's the actual impact?
Well, what the sources really hammer home is that networking opens doors, opportunities that just your skills, your experience alone might not unlock. It's
Ah,
not just what you know, it's really also about who knows you. That's a huge factor now.
right.
In this super connected world, a good network can lead to job referrals, finding amazing mentors, sparking collaborations you didn't even see coming, and honestly, even personal growth that goes way beyond just your job title. It's like this invisible thread,
Yeah,
running through successful careers.
that makes a lot of sense. The who knows your part. But okay, here's the tricky bit, isn't it? Given how important it is, what are the biggest hurdles introverts usually face when trying to do this thing that often feels, well, built for extroverts?
Yeah.
I can picture some awkward moments already.
Oh, definitely. And the material points this out clearly. For a lot of introverts, it's those large crowds, the feeling you have to make endless small talk.
Yeah, the superficial stuff.
Exactly. And just the pressure to constantly be on, engaging, it can be incredibly draining. It's not just preference, it actually uses up energy.
Hmm.
And that leads to worrying. Worrying about seeming awkward or just feeling totally invisible in those noisy, high energy places where louder voices tend to take over. It's like trying to have a deep chat in the middle of a packed festival. It's just hard.
That's a great analogy. I've definitely felt that energy
Yeah,
sap myself. So, okay, knowing those challenges are real, what can you actually do? How do you prepare your mind before you even walk into an event or log into something online to make it feel less overwhelming?
Preparation. It's absolutely critical, and our sources really emphasize this. It's about thinking ahead strategically.
Okay.
So that could mean looking up who might be there, maybe having a couple of open-ended questions ready that you're genuinely curious about. And this is important, setting realistic goals. Don't aim to work the room.
Right. Don't try to talk to everyone.
Exactly. Maybe aim for just 2 or 3 meaningful conversations. That's a win. And maybe the biggest thing, shifting your mindset. Think of it as building relationships, not selling yourself or just making a transaction.
Ah, that's a powerful reframe. Relationship building.
Yeah, that shift alone can totally change how it feels, takes the pressure right off.
Okay. So speaking of how it feels when you're actually interacting, is one style better for introverts?
Mm.
Like focusing on one-on-one chats versus jumping into big groups?
Oh, absolutely. The sources are really clear on this. One-on-one conversations are almost always more meaningful and more comfortable for
That
introverts.
makes sense.
They just allow for that deeper discussion, getting past the surface chit-chat. And that's where you build real, authentic connections. You can actually explore something properly.
That resonates. I think a lot of people listening probably prefer that. But I wonder if you only do one-on-one, are you maybe missing out? Missing the, I don't know, the wider visibility or those random serendipitous connections that sometimes happen in group settings, even if they are draining.
That's a really fair point.
Should introverts just avoid groups completely? Or are there ways to survive them, maybe even find value?
Yeah, that's a great question, and the material does touch on it. While one-on-one is often ideal, it's not suggesting you never engage in groups. It's more about tactics. So if you find yourself in a group, maybe look for a natural lull.
Okay.
Or, catch someone's eye and subtly suggest moving to a quieter spot.
Mhm.
Or even just shift your focus to really engage with just 1 or 2 people within that larger group.
Like creating a mini one-on-one within the crowd.
Exactly. Find those little pockets for individual connection. Or maybe have one thoughtful, concise point ready to share. Contribute meaningfully, but you don't have to dominate the whole conversation.
That sounds doable, practical. And it's interesting, thinking about online platforms,
Mm.
they kind of allow for that more thoughtful start you mentioned.
Right.
So let's connect this to how we interact now with so much happening online. How can introverts leverage something like LinkedIn effectively? Does it play to their strengths?
Hugely. Online platforms like LinkedIn are actually incredibly well suited for introverts.
So,
Because they let you engage thoughtfully at your own pace, without that immediate face-to-face pressure.
right, no instant response needed.
Exactly. You can share articles you find interesting, write considered comments on posts, reach out with personalized messages,
Right.
and a well-put-together profile. It can kind of speak for you before you even start a conversation. It sets the stage. It's a much lower pressure way in.
Okay, so we've done our prep. We're thinking about one-on-one, maybe using online tools. But then comes the moment. You have to actually start talking, whether it's online or face-to-face. That initial, hello, let's talk about breaking the ice. What are some simple, practical ways to start a conversation without feeling super awkward? Because it's often the killer, right? I remember once just blurting out, night shoes, and instantly wishing the ground would swallow me.
We've all been there. The sources suggest keeping it simple, keeping it genuine.
Okay.
Easy icebreakers like, what brings you to this event? Or maybe, how are you finding working in your field? Something open-ended. The real key, though, is curiosity. Just be genuinely curious.
Okay.
Asking real questions makes the conversation flow more naturally, and it takes the focus off you needing to constantly talk. People usually like sharing their thoughts, just giving them an opening.
That's actually a relief. Less pressure to perform.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've started the chat, made a connection. What about afterwards? How do you follow up without seeming, I don't know, pushy or too keen? It feels like a bit of a balancing act.
It can feel like that, yeah. The advice is generally to follow up pretty promptly, like within 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, quick turnaround?
Yeah, while it's fresh. And the key is a short, authentic message, not some generic template.
Right.
Something simple like, hey, it was great meeting you. I really enjoyed our chat about X, and mention that specific thing you talked about.
The specific detail.
Crucial. It shows you were actually listening and makes it personal, memorable, not just like you're ticking a box or collecting contacts.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, something the source has really highlighted, which I find fascinating, is this idea of active listening as a potential superpower, especially for introverts. How does that work? How is listening a strength in networking?
It really is a superpower because fundamentally, as the sources point out, people love to feel heard, truly heard. But it's more than just nodding along politely. Introverts often have this natural tendency towards deeper processing. So by really listening carefully, asking those insightful follow-up questions that show you're connecting the dots, remembering details, you're often synthesizing information in a way that someone maybe more focused on their next talking point might miss.
Right, they're planning their response instead of listening.
Exactly. And that deeper listening makes the other person feel genuinely seen, understood. It builds trust and rapport much quicker than just dominating the airtime. You're not just hearing words, you're actually connecting.
Connecting, not just hearing.
Yeah.
I like that. So thinking about other natural introvert strengths, like being thoughtful, observant, how do those play into networking effectively?
They're incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
Introverts often notice things others miss, right? Little details, body language, subtle points in a conversation.
Yeah,
And you can use that. Remembering names, recalling points from previous chats, it makes people feel genuinely valued, like they actually made an impression.
That's powerful.
And that tendency to think before speaking, it means when introverts do contribute, their points are often more considered, more insightful. It lends weight to what they say. It's really about quality over quantity in communication.
Making those interactions really count.
Yeah.
Okay, so beyond that initial connection and follow-up, what about the long game? How do you maintain these professional relationships over time without it feeling like another item on the to-do list?
Yeah, you don't want it to feel like a chore. Consistency is key, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. The sources suggest small, thoughtful actions.
Like what?
Occasional check-ins, maybe congratulating someone on a promotion you saw on LinkedIn, or sharing an article or a resource you genuinely think they'd find interesting.
So low effort, but high value touches.
Exactly. You don't need constant contact. Just staying gently on their radar in a positive, non-demanding way builds that goodwill over time. It's like tending a garden, A little bit regularly goes a long way.
I like that analogy. Tending the garden. This brings up a really important point, I think. Something people wrestle with. Can networking actually be authentic? Or is it always going to feel a bit transactional? How do we avoid that feeling of just using people for what they can do for us?
Yes, absolutely, it can be authentic. And honestly, it works best when it is. It's most rewarding then, too.
Okay, yeah.
It has to be about mutual value, not just taking. Actively look for ways to offer help, share your knowledge, or just show genuine interest in what someone else is doing or struggling with without expecting an immediate quid pro quo.
So first.
Sort of, yeah. Or just be genuinely supportive. Like if someone mentions they're looking for a good book on, say, project management, and you remember a great one, sending them a quick note a week later with a title with no other ask attached that shows you were listening and thinking of them, that's not transactional, that's building a real connection. When people feel you're not just trying to get something from them, they naturally want to stay connected. They trust you more. And they're more likely to think of you when opportunities arise. It fosters real bonds.
Okay, so if we bring this all together, what we're really saying is networking isn't some fixed personality trait you're born with or without. It's actually a skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A skill you can learn and develop.
And it sounds like the key is quality over quantity, and maybe most importantly, just being genuine in how you approach it.
Exactly that. What this deep dive really shows is that with the right mindset, focusing on your strengths and taking small, consistent steps, even if you identify as introverted, you can become a really powerful networker.
It's not about being the loudest person.
Not at all. It's about being maybe the most thoughtful, the most observant, the most genuinely connected person in the room. Your natural strengths, they're your assets here. Use them.
So a final thought for everyone listening. Remember, networking isn't really about collecting contacts like trophies. It's about building genuine connections, real relationships that matter. So maybe ask yourself, what's one small, genuine step you can take today, right now, even to build or strengthen a connection that truly matters to you?